Yesterday I covered, it was breaking news. Caroline and Gary Wang both entered a plea agreement because they want to escape a potential 100. Sam Bankman-Fried, everyone's most favorite crypto person, he's going to make a court appearance. And I'm sure he's been grilled by everyone within the last day or so, probably telling him what they're going to charge him with. We're talking about every single agency there is, basically. And this court appearance, basically, it's going to determine whether or not he has entered a plea or and what his bail is going to be at, if there is going to be a bail, right? So that is going to happen today, I think. Today. Yesterday I covered, it was breaking news, came out at night, that Caroline and Gary Wang both entered a plea agreement, right? And this is the reason why, because they want to escape a potential 110-year prison term. So both of them turned on SBF. We don't know what they gave up, what their sentencing will be, but the SEC has charged both in terms of, what they think they've done, right? They think Caroline Ellison inflated FTT's token price on purpose, manipulated the market, and then used that, of course, to buy other things with. And I'll get to something about that in a little bit. And then they think Gary Wang also created this back door that allowed Alameda to siphon all these customer funds. But here's the thing. They have reworded it, or they have worded it, that SBF pressured them to do so, or under the direction of SBF. So with this plea deal, it seems like they're trying to pinpoint everything on SBF, him alone. And that, yes, even though Caroline and Gary did these other things, they did so under the direction of SBF, right? Can they prove that? Or is it just because they got both of them to say, oh, it's SBF, right? So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And is SBF going to plea, or is he go fight this and his lawyers will argue, well, maybe he had nothing to do with that and it was all them, right? Now you get tested. You get tested who your real friends are. Are they really? Is Caroline really? Does she really care about what's going to happen with SBF? Because if they point this solely on him, he will get that 115-year sentence, and he will never see the light of day ever again. So it's interesting. It's interesting. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker too. He's going to stay at the same prison that Epstein stayed at too. So you got to think about that as well. What is this going on here? Bankman-Fried execs likely to be freed on bail after FTX fraud pleas. Did they really have a chalkboard like that? Where did they get that picture from? I guess they do have it. They actually created a nice poster here. Yeah, so they're thinking that Gary Wang and Caroline Ellison will receive a $250,000 bail, but they won't be able to leave the United States. Here's the thing. Where did they have $250,000? I mean, how did they have that? I guess maybe their parents. Caroline Ellison's parents are, I think they're pretty wealthy. I don't know about Gary Wayne's parents, but where did they even have that $250,000 bail? Where did they have that stashed, I should say? I don't know. All right. Outside of this, what else is going on? Oh, I did mention, inflating FTT tokens price, right, for acquisitions. It turns out Blockfolio, which is actually a very great portfolio tracker, and they have integrated it into FTX. Unfortunately, it's like a FTX kind of portfolio thing now. But it's still, I would argue, it's still a really good, a useful app. But it was bought by FTX using over 90% or 94% was paid for with FTT tokens, which is now worthless, right? So whoever sold to FTX, I don't know if they cashed out. If they did, they're still feeling pretty good. But if they did not and they're holding on FTT, well, then they're probably feeling like an idiot right now. All right. Now, what else is there? Some good stuff about Bitcoin. You have Bill Miller, a legendary Wall Street macro guy, says it's quite remarkable that Bitcoin is still holding at 17K despite the FTX collapse. If you think about it, it is true. If you think about it, it's not just the FTX collapse. You think about how bad this year has been, 2022, and everything that we went through, all the collapses and the macro stuff and the geopolitical stuff, all added together. It's a perfect tsunami of crushing stocks and crypto, right? And despite all that, Bitcoin is still at 17K. And 17K is still like 3x, 4x higher than the low from 2018. So we are much, much higher. If Bitcoin fell down to like 6,000, okay, which of course we don't want, and I don't think it's going to happen. But let's say Bitcoin is at 6,000 right now. I could still make the argument it's 100% higher or double the low of 2018, because 2018 we fell down to 3,000, right? So even if Bitcoin fell down to 6,000, and it was at 6,000 right now, I can still make the argument it's still forming higher lows, and we're still continuing forward. But the fact is, we're not at 6,000. We're at 17,000. That is triple, right, of that 6,000, and way, way, way more x, 6x of the 2018 low, right? That is remarkable if you think about it. Most people won't think that because most people bought, towards the top or much higher, and they're like, oh, I'm just down, 50, 60%, right? So most people won't think this is remarkable. But if you've been in this space for a while, you realize that this is actually quite remarkable. It shows how resilient Bitcoin is because of the holders, because holders are not going away. They know this is tough times, but we get through tough times. Bitcoin always gets through tough times, right? And the fundamentals continue to get stronger. So it is quite remarkable if you just take a second and think about it. But here's good news. Here's the good news. Right now, there's a very close coupling of S&P, NASDAQ, and Bitcoin. But Bitcoin has become the leading indicator. And actually, Bitcoin bottoms out before the S&P 500. So right now, you can see they're pretty in line. They're pretty in line. Okay, S&P 500 actually is more volatile right now than Bitcoin. Bitcoin has kind of been more steady as of recent times. But if you look at before, Bitcoin bottomed out 8 days or 11 days before. It topped out before too. Bitcoin topped out 42 days and 55 days before. So Bitcoin is actually a leading indicator. So if Bitcoin stops going down and is holding a 17 and builds upon here, right? That would mean that this is a bottom indicator, and then S&P 500 and U.S. markets will follow soon afterwards. So think about that. Think about that. Brazil also, the president signs the bill regulating use of Bitcoin as payment. So now it's official. There is a regulatory framework around crypto and allowing merchants to utilize cryptocurrency as a form of payment. So again, adoption is growing. This is part of growing fundamentals. Some people don't believe that. Like, how can you say fundamentals is growing? It is. Look at how many countries and merchants that are utilizing the Lightning Network and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency now versus, let's say, just 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Very, 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 very different. Much more adoption these days. All right. And then what else is there? Twitter. Twitter adds crypto and stock price and search results. So again, Elon wants to make Twitter a super app. Super app. So he wants to incentivize you guys to just stay within. So now you don't have to go to CMC. You could just type BTC, $BTC, and you'll see the latest price. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. And then this metric shows that interest in Bitcoin actually ballooned in 2022. And what are they talking about? Well, they're talking about Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance posted the top trending tickers of 2022, and Bitcoin is right here. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8th place, which is pretty impressive. Tesla's number 1. Then you have a couple of indexes. Then you have Apple, Amazon, another index, and then you have Bitcoin. So even the searches for Bitcoin has gone up in 2022. Part of the adoption. So that's good. One of the big semiconductor giants, Micron, they produce a whole bunch of chips, memory chips, storage devices, and many others. They just announced a 10% staff reduction, suspends bonuses, okay? And I'm hearing that the banks, they're suspending bonuses. Everyone is suspending bonuses and pay raises and reducing staff, right? So, but especially hit hard in the tech sector. As we know, Facebook laid off like 10,000 people. Amazon laid off a whole bunch. And all these companies are laying off left and right. AMC. Unfortunately, AMC is plunging this morning. Negative 18%. In fact, trading halted. Okay, we're back to the extreme volatility days for AMC. And because they are just doing horrible. They're not doing good at all. So this whole 2020, 2021 AMC GME pump from Wall Street Bets, that has not really helped them a whole lot. Maybe gave them a little lifeline, but now they are struggling once again. So rumors were that Amazon was going to buy them, but I don't think that's the case anymore because Amazon is actually struggling quite hard themselves right now. So yeah, AMC theaters. Avatar 2 came in soft, and Disney got hit hard because of it. They were anticipating a lot more sales, and that didn't happen either. And then, of course, we got to talk about Tesla. Tesla doubles their discounts on their most popular cars, the 3 and the Y. So they were giving $3,750 to people if they took delivery in December, right? They have now doubled that to $7,500, and they are giving 10,000 of free supercharging miles, right? So there's not that much time to take delivery, but I decided to search, right? And you could see this is Model Y, their most popular car. I have never ever seen inventory this packed ever. Like, there are a lot of people that are just not taking delivery or for some reason. Now there are some people that did that because they're waiting for this new tax incentive to kick in next year, right? So some are waiting for that, but outside of that, I think just a whole lot of people are not buying or taking delivery because they can no longer afford it. I mean, just take a look at this. The cheapest Model Y you can get, right, is $66,000. And this does not include full self-driving. So Model Ys are not that affordable, right? So obviously when people are trying to save, they are trying to, if they're living paycheck to paycheck, of course, they're not going to be able to afford a $1,000 monthly payment, right, on a luxury car like a Tesla. So, yeah, so the very fact that they're offering so much credit and free supercharger miles indicates that, Tesla is not recession-proof, is not recession-resilient, as Elon Musk once said earlier this year. He was calling that Tesla was just really good. It was growing by leaps and bounds, and it's resilient to recession. But now it seems like that is no longer the case. And it's not just Tesla. Not going to single them out. Used car retailer CarMax, I think they are the biggest used car dealer in the United States. They are struggling hard right now. Really, really hard too. Their profits dropped by 86%. Yeah, 86% in quarterly profit drop. That is enormous. So they are struggling. Cars are just not doing so well. People are just not buying cars right now, right? And It's due to recession and due to the fact that a lot of these cars were marked up for so long because of supply chain issues. Dealerships got away with gouging people by jacking up the price, right, to levels they should not be at, to basically new car levels, and some used cars are being sold for over new car levels, right? So they kind of brought it to themselves. I'm not sure if CarMax does that, but I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they also do that. So, of course, pissed off a lot of people, too. So that's the latest right now. There's just a lot of recession fears, a lot of FUD about what's coming in 2023, right? And that is sort of why the market is looking pretty weak right now. Pretty weak right now, but we'll see. We'll see if things get better. Things tend to be very fluid, and who knows? Maybe later today, tomorrow, and then the last week of this year, maybe it turns out to be really great. And then we'll forget all this. I don't know. I'm just making that up.